Good morning, everyone. We'll be starting in a couple of minutes. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the informational webinar for the Quality and Market Standards Solicitation RFQL 5959. My name is Amy Casamuzio, and I am the Assistant Director of the Quality and Market Standards team. Including myself, the panelists are Andrew Van Gorder, Senior Project Manager, Rick Sahine, Senior Project Manager, David Houle, Senior Project Manager, and Grace Sexton, the Quality and Market Standards Coordinator. Before we get into the presentation, I have a few housekeeping items. Please note that this webinar will be recorded, and we will try to have the recording available as soon as possible. It may take up to 1 week to be posted. Please use the Q&A feature in the lower right-hand side to ask any and all questions. The team will be monitoring the chat and the Q&A during this webinar, and we will respond throughout if several questions come in at once. We will have time reserved towards the end of the webinar to answer them. If anyone has a question after the webinar has ended, please reach out to the email box specifically created for the solicitation of qms.solicitation2025@nycerta.ny.gov. All questions with corresponding answers from this webinar will be posted under the solicitation on the NYSERDA funding webpage. So let's move on to the solicitation overview. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. The New York State Energy Research and Development Authority seeks to establish a pool of qualified service providers to develop, implement quality initiatives in support of several NYSERDA programs in clean energy technologies. Qualified proposers, will work with the NYSERDA Quality and Market Standards team to conduct field inspections and desk review services, implement existing and upcoming standards, and deliver market-based quality assurance solutions. RFQL 5959 will establish a group of qualified QSPs or quality service providers in 3 separate categories. Service Category 1 for field inspection and desk review services. Service Category 2 is technical assistance and standard development support services. And Service Category 3, data collection and management system support services. Next slide, please. This table indicates the technology area along the side of the service category needed. For example, to read this table under the technology of the New York Sun program, residential and non-residential, we will need service category 1, field inspection, photo inspection, and desk review services, and service category 2, technical assistance and standard development support. Whereas energy storage, retail, and large-scale renewable bulk will need service category 1, service category 2, with the addition of service category 3, data collection and management system support system services. Next slide, please. I'll discuss general eligibility requirements, but all requirements for this RFQL are in the solicitation itself. We want proposers to understand the goals and objectives of NYSERDA's mission and the CLCPA, the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, and the Clean Energy Fund. All QSPs should have exceptional communication skills and the ability to manage conflict. We would like all QSPs to demonstrate expertise in appropriate energy efficiency and renewable energy technologies, as well as being proficient in computer software as MS Excel or Access or PowerPoint and Word. I will now hand it over to the team to discuss the solicitation in more depth.
Next slide, please. I'm sorry, category 1, field inspections and desk reviews. For field inspections, standard field inspections, we ask that you're able to create and maintain inspection schedules, upload project information to NYSERDA internal databases or MS Excel, document field inspection data, issue field inspection reports, and issue corrective action reports if applicable. Also, as a note, I'd like to stress that for this RFQL, the most of category 1 inspections will be field inspections. Next slide, please. Desk review, standard desk inspections. We ask that QSPs will request photos and documents from contractors, retrieve product data, issue desk review reports, and issue corrective action reports if applicable. Next slide, please.
Okay, field and desk reviews category 1, minimum qualifications. Next slide, please. So the minimum qualifications for the New York Sun program, residential, non-residential, and the large commercial industrial programs are listed below. Required credentials include the North American Board of Certified Energy Practitioners, or the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, or the Underwriters Laboratory PV Installer Certification, or 3 or more years of combined experience installing, designing, or inspecting solar or photovoltaic systems. Additional qualifications that will be preferred are a professional engineer in this field and or licensed electrician in the regions proposed. Please note that each inspector must hold the required qualifications. If one or more proposed inspectors do not hold all the required qualifications, your proposal should include a plan to obtain the credentials within 3 months of the contract start date. Next slide, please. The minimum qualifications for the New York Sun floating PV adder are the same as on the previous slide. So the required credentials are the NABCEP certified PV installer, the IBU journeyman certification, or the UL PV installer certification, 3 or more years of combined experience installing, designing, and inspecting PV systems, and additional preferred qualifications include 3 or more years combined experience installing, designing, or inspecting floating PV systems, professional engineer, and or a licensed electrician in the regions proposed. And again, each inspector must hold the required qualifications. And if they don't hold these qualifications, please provide a plan where they will gain these credentials within 3 months of the contract start date. It'll be July 1st of this year. Next slide, please. For the energy storage technologies, the required credentials are 3 or more years of combined experience installing, designing, or inspecting energy storage systems. And preferred additional qualifications include a professional engineer and or licensed electrician in the region proposed. These qualifications are, the required qualifications are the same as the other. If each inspector does not hold the certifications, please provide a plan of how they will achieve the credentials within 3 months of contract start. Next slide, please. The appliance upgrade program. The required credentials are 3 or more years combined experience installing, designing, or inspecting residential electrical equipment such as heat pumps, induction cooktops, and other residential related electrical equipment. Preferred credentials include the Building Professional Institute Heating Professional Certification or the Air Conditioning and Heat Pump certifications. Next slide, please.
Okay, still under the field inspection and desk review services, category 1. This is the general map that potential bidders may propose to. You can bid to either category 1, category 2, or both. Sorry, either region 1, region 2, or both regions. In all cases, proposals should include a staffing plan that demonstrates how field inspection staff can cover all counties across the region or regions that you are proposing to. Next slide, please. For category 1, we'll describe the data systems used and the purpose of those data systems. The first data system is Salesforce, which will be used by the quality service providers to identify projects that are eligible for scheduling an inspection, for documenting the field and or desk review inspection results, for creating it will automatically create the field or desk review inspection report within Salesforce, and it'll issue the report via email through Salesforce to the appropriate party. Salesforce will also be used in some cases by the quality service provider if there's a corrective action report issued in which the contractor or builder has additional questions or maybe doesn't agree with certain pieces of the inspection report. We'll use that system to communicate, document that communication. SharePoint. All QSPs will be given access to SharePoint in a specific site where the QSP is required to upload the full set of inspection photos taken for each field inspection completed. Site capture. This is a third-party website that we may use in place of Salesforce if Salesforce is not available for that program area. It is also used to document field inspection results and produce the inspection report, which will be issued to the contractor or builder. And then a selection of programs will be managed by quality service providers using other reports, other formats that are acceptable to NYSERDA, including Excel spreadsheets. Next slide, please. Technical assistance and standards development support services, category 2. minimum qualifications. Next slide, please. Proposals should include examples of how they meet these following minimum qualifications. Successful implementation of quality assurance methodology, technical and installation standards to build customer and investor confidence. Ability to replicate market-based quality strategies to achieve the goals of the CLCPA and CEF. Proven involvement with industry, regional, and national stakeholders and consumers to achieve quality goals. Researching and recommending the application of existing standards and quality methods to help accelerate market adoption of energy efficiency and renewable energy technologies. Finally, an understanding of the needs of prospective consumers, implementing standards for the design, installation, and operation of clean energy technologies.
Next slide, please. Okay, we are now moving on to category 3, data collection and management system support services, the minimum qualifications. Next slide, please. For the energy storage system, the required professional credentials are 3 or more years of combined experience with installing, designing, or inspecting energy storage systems. And the preferred additional qualifications include professional engineers and licensed electricians in the proposed regions. Next slide, please. Now we are going to talk about contractual agreements and task work orders, or TWOs. Next slide, please. Qualified proposers will enter into a $0 value umbrella agreement for the technology areas and service areas in which they have been qualified. This umbrella agreement will not guarantee any specific amount of work. The New York Sun contract term is for 1 year with a projected extension yearly for 4 additional years, and the contract term for all other programs are 5 years. Next slide, please. Work orders, or TWOs. Projects are assigned through separate TWOs, which become binding agreements between NYSERDA and the contractor. For service category 1, TWOs are assigned regionally or statewide by technology area and will be assigned or competitively bid within the pool of qualified contractors depending on the contract value. For service category 2, TWOs will be assigned or competitively bid within the pool of qualified contractors. And for service category 3, TWOs will be assigned or competitively bid within the pool of qualified contractors. Next slide, please.
Okay, we'll move on to proposal requirements and evaluation. Next slide, please. Okay, as outlined in RFQL, the proposal requirements include a cover letter, a table of contents, the overall experience and capabilities of the proposer, qualifications matrix filled out for each technology area that you're proposing for, a cost proposal, all the required attachments, and submittal of bid package document. Next slide, please. The proposal evaluation process. Proposals that meet the general eligibility requirements will be reviewed by a scoring committee. The scoring committee will use evaluation criteria to qualify proposals. The scoring committee will consist of internal NYSERDA staff members and external industry experts. Slide, please. The evaluation criteria are summarized here, but it's detailed in RFQL. For category 1,
Next slide, please.
oh, sorry. So for category 1, in general, is the responsiveness to the RFQL, demonstrating your ability to serve New York State or the regions proposed, relevant experience and qualifications in the technology proposed, and references. For category 2, responsiveness, ability to serve New York State, relevant experience, qualifications, cost, and references. Category 3, responsiveness, relevant experience and qualification, and references. Slide, please.
So if you have any questions after this webinar is completed, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Lindsay Miller at qms.solicitation2025@nycerta.ny.gov. And if you have any contractual questions, you can reach out to James Cowman at james.cowman, COWMAN, @nycerta.ny.gov. Next slide, please. So thank you so much, everyone who has attended today's webinar. I hope it has answered some of your questions or all of your questions that you had before you came into it. We do have one question in the Q&A section. And that is, if proposers want to propose for multiple categories, should we submit a separate proposal for each? And the answer is yes. Please submit separate proposals for each technology area. So we're going to give it another minute or three. If anyone else has any questions, please don't hesitate to pop it in the Q&A. Right, so I will read and answer some of the questions that have come in. If proposers want to propose for multiple categories, should we submit a separate proposal for each? Yes, please submit a separate proposal for each. Within service categories, can proposers pick and choose which programs and technologies they want to support? Yes, please do that. That would be fantastic. Another question that came in, are the required credentials of 3+ years experience installing, designing, and inspecting systems for category 1 only, or for all 3 categories? So the team and I have been looking at this since this question came in, and we believe that in category 1 and category 3, these are required credentials. And we realize now that it has never been broken out in any of our solicitations. So thank you very much for catching this. What we're going to do is confirm that it is just for category 1 and category 3 and post it in this Q&A document when we post it online. But if the person asking this question has any follow-up questions, please feel free to email us at the qms.solicitation2025 at nyserda.ny.gov. Another question, within service categories, can proposers pick and choose which programs and technologies to support? Absolutely. And that was basically a duplicate of another question, but we did want to answer all questions that came in. And so thank you for letting us know that the RFQL in attachment A doesn't explicitly make it clear for the qualifications. We will clean that up in the future. Are there any more questions? We'll wait another minute or two. Well, I want to thank everyone for attending this webinar. No other questions have come in, so please don't hesitate to get a hold of us if you do have questions as you continue to write your proposals. Once again, my name is Amy Casamuzio. Thank you so much for joining, and have a quality day.